Good evening, Greg here, burning both ends, burning on the back end of day one, right? The first real week of iCore. Yeah, I guess it's technically week two. I should call it week two, right? We had week one opening session, so week two, day one. This is like, I guess, the start of the real work, the real life. We're on our own. I have to admit, it really feels like I'm in a startup. This is just awesome because it's that classic dilemma. It's like infinitely many tasks, and how well organized am I so I can see what I really should be doing next? That is exactly the space I'm in, and I love it. I work from home today, and it's just, I'm just focusing on this iCore, and I'm just really enjoying it. And also, I'm really digging this success journal so far. It's given me a place to put things that I think about, so that way I can stay focused on iCore, but then some other project comes in my head, and I can put something up here, and yeah, it's working real well. So let's just have a look at it's that bubbly water, but I love that bubbly water. Let's have a look at our list here. I'm not sure if these posts are going to be as exciting as the other ones. I hope the other ones were exciting, but this one, I don't know, this is going to be very utilitarian, I guess I'll say. Right, so running down the list. So the cool thing about looking at a week at a time is that I can look at a whole week, right? So there are just certain things you going to really do on a Monday, right? You let people get to the office, especially like local people, for local things that are simple to connect on, like connecting with my wife for lunch, connecting with a bunch of other people here that I just know is very easy to do, and Monday's a tough day sometimes. And so today I spent a lot of time on iCore, really just documenting what we did last week, right? Last week was a blur. I found out that we did 17 interviews so far, so documenting all those, and that just takes some time, right? Because I write down my notes from the meeting. There are specific things that were mentioned, things I should go look up right then and there, just to get a link or just to get a feeling for flavor. A couple of things came out of nowhere, like there's an interesting conference going on, right here in town this week that we should talk to some folks at. So. Is that there's an interesting conference going on. It's a workshop that we should attend. It's a better way to say it. So things like that. So and then I was communicating with our industry mentor across the country a couple of times to get his opinion on some things. So it's just really fun day, really good work, very tasky work today, but necessary work, right? There's this level of documentation that needs to be done, right? It's the documentation that leads to the organization, right? Organization, clarity, sequencing, right? Sequencing, action. That's where I am. And so what I'm going to do tonight. So it's about 11:15. Technically 11:14. It is June 11th. So it's 11:14 Pacific. So I can probably do one or two more things. And the things I'm going to choose to do is I am going to choose to get back in touch with Peter. He sent me an email. I want to check it out. This is, one of my personal project I'm very excited about, by the way. And so I'm going to choose to do that. I did a lot of iCore today. I did a little bit of, other company projects, some necessary things. Excuse me. And then tomorrow I'm at the office, so I'll really be able to pound on some projects. I have a couple of other kind of more tasky things to do for example, HPD, like the drawings and the schedule. That's a little bit more tasky, and what I mean by tasky is I can sit down and I can just bang that task out. I know it's involved. I know how to do it. It's not going to take a tremendous amount of effort. It's just going to take kind of going through some motions. And tasky means it just might be a little bit of lower level work. So I'm going to bang those out tomorrow. I got some design work to do for the CSE project, so that should be fun. And then my goal is wake up in the morning, fire out a flurry of emails. And so one of the cool things that came out of today's work with iCore is there are 36 interviews in the pipeline right now. Right, so we're at 17, so we got 36 people that are pretty much queued up. Right, I mean, I'm not gonna say ready to go, but these are either people that were referred to us, so very high probability that we'll get in touch with, or people that either myself or my mentor or my PI already know that we were just waiting for the time to connect with them, right? We didn't want to do it last week, obviously, when we're in Colorado. And also, some of these interviews we want to prep for. We want to kind of get together. There's still some science to work out. There's still some calculations and some boundary conditions to work out on our technology. My industry mentor and my PI are working through some of those. And so sometimes just a little bit of more prep is important. And so pushing things off a week makes sense. So that's definitely going on, but now we're kind of getting into this flow. So tomorrow morning, I want to fire out a flurry of emails in the morning before I get to work. So in my 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Time frame, I want to fire out a bunch of emails, and that way, that's kind of like my hot throw, and then my cold throw for the day can be just waiting for things to come back as I'm working on these other projects. And that's the kind of thing I want to do is I want to blend a hot throw into a cold throw while I can work on something else and wait for something to manifest. And typically when you send an email out for an interview, you want to wait a day or two, and then try a fresh communication, a new style, right? So if I'm going to email on the front end, 2 days later I'm going to call, or maybe I'll hit them on LinkedIn. Just kind of mix up the communication style, because you never know what's going to get someone's attention. The short story, I was trying to get the attention of a high level person at my work, and email was just not doing it. But oddly enough, he had sent me a LinkedIn connection a while ago, so I'm like, I wonder if LinkedIn would work. And lo and behold, a direct message on LinkedIn got his attention, and we were talking. And this led to a lot of work. So this was I would argue that little direct message, that was a marketing ploy. Not ploy, but that was, essentially that was marketing. Because of that little direct message, we met. I found out what he needed. I joined his team. I'm now doing work for them. We're looking at closing, several $1 million in funding. So, pretty powerful direct message, I'd say. Not knowing at the time, but anyway, but that's the style. Right, these interviews are the biggest challenge of this whole thing, because a lot of the other things like the business model canvas, thinking about hypotheses, the presentations. It's important work. It takes time. It takes thought. But I, for the most part, control the pace of that. Not completely, because I have I have team members, and you never know how long something might take. But essentially, it's not very difficult for me to get the attention of my team, bring them together to do something. Whereas these interviews, you never know how long it may take before someone's going to, respond to a communication, or they might never respond. We have 36 in the pipeline right now. I wonder how many interviews we're going to get out of those 36. I think it's going to be 90+% because of just the style of connections that those are. But we'll see. And we haven't even begun to touch the kind of cold call, other ideas and other things, about 20 of those of those people came from our first round of interviews. So with those 36, let's say if we get 25 interviews, from those 25 we're going to get more referrals. So it's just going to keep on going, and the goal is we want to schedule those 36 interviews definitely in the month of June, if not in the next couple of weeks, right? We should be doing about 15 a week. We're going to be a bit behind, because I have to say my only real critique of the opening session was that we did not do any work to schedule interviews for the following week. So we're essentially a week behind at this point. And this is interesting. This interview work, it takes time. It really does. Because you want to craft an email right, you want to have no typos, you want to have it to be a powerful message, you want to research things. It can take, even if you're working with a template, it can still take 15 minutes to get the email out, 10 minutes or so, right? But a lot of the work today was actually this tasky work of getting the interview results into Innovation Within. And then also part of that is, as you enter the interview, you want to highlight different sections that are hypotheses. Here are some more connections or more interviews, and you want to input the person's contact information, so you might have to go look it up. So it's just, these things are, they're extremely important work, but they're just not very efficient work. which is okay. But it's just these things can take a while. But I think I did a pretty solid job on my task list. I think I'm moving nicely toward my success steps. It's early to tell right now because it's only been one day. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Tomorrow I want to knock off a bunch of nice things in this green section here. Tonight I'm going to respond to Peter, and then tomorrow I will do a little bit of iCore work, but it's going to be mostly firing off those emails and waiting for some responses. So that's today's post. So working through the success journals, the success journal. I'm enjoying this format so far. It's only day one, so it's early to tell, but I can see it working for me. Let's just see how it goes for the whole weekend. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep editing these 3 columns for the whole week, and then I'm going to move on to the next week. I think that's how I'm going to do it, because you'll notice that between this morning and tonight, I've added a couple things. And we'll just see how this plays out and see if this is a manageable thing per week. I think it's going to be, but we'll see. We'll see how crazy it gets, because you get into the space where, do you delete things? Do you just add things? Do you need to keep things, or can you just get rid of them? I'm writing done next to things that I'm complete with. That's what I figure is in the next week I'm going to now start a fresh 3 columns and see how those goes. And maybe I bring the focus items and the success steps with me, and then I keep the success column blank and just fill that in. I don't know, I'm just trying to think out loud about how I'm going to do this. Just to I want it to be effective, I want it to be efficient. It's got to be both, or else I'll throw it away. So that's the post for tonight. So this might be a little bit boring. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but it really helps me. So I have to say that's really good. And maybe just watching me go through this process will help you figure out how to manage your own tasks, because that is the most critical thing. And what this is really allowing me to do, it's allowing me to see the whole week, see all the projects on my plate, and it's allowing me already to sequence things. The fact that I chose not to do some HBD and CSE things today and intentionally do them tomorrow, and the fact that I finished up things tonight, because I could have switched to them this evening, but I didn't. I wanted to finish up putting the interviews in, so that way tomorrow morning I can fire off a bunch of emails before I get to the office, and then once I get to the office I can focus on HBD, CSE, and then, like, for example, resource management. I don't have that meeting this week, it's next week, so I don't have to even worry about that until next week. Things like that. So and then definitely want to connect with the missus tomorrow, so we can schedule a lunch for the week. And the kids have a cool party on Friday, so it's good that I see that there. It reminds me. Ooh, you know what? We have to make cookies. It's funny how this stuff comes up. We have to make cookies. Let me add this right now. Cookies for Wednesday. I love it, because this is the last week of school. Cookies for Wednesday. Boom. See? Now I'm going to remember that. Now I'm going to look at that all day tomorrow. I'm going to see that, and it's going to just get burned in my head. This is how my mind works. It's best if I write it down, but if I'm looking at it, that's almost equivalent. So this is pretty cool. So it turns out that these posts aren't that much shorter, it seems, but my prep for the post is almost nothing, which is great. So this is working. So I probably started this post, thinking about this post at about a couple of minutes after 11. It's 11:25 now, so I'll be done. I'm down to a half an hour. Looks like I'm getting where I want to get. So, and the power of the success journal, I'm really digging this style. So we'll see how it works. So let's see what else we got going on. So check out the description down below. You'll find a bunch of cool links, some motivational videos, some great music. You'll find a link to my success journal here. You'll find some posts about the success journal, the outline that describes it and gives the format. Even though my format that I'm using right now is a little different, but it's the same basic premise, same basic functionality. So check it out. I've switched up the beat in the background. This is a different beat. This is an Afro beat type beat, Afro beat, double beat. I'm really into Afro beat, and so check it out. You can listen to it by itself. On SoundCloud, I got a bunch of other beats there you can check out. I got a bunch of playlists that you might dig. So yeah, and just don't forget, the whole purpose of this channel is this is my journey as an inspiring entrepreneur. So I'd love to hear about your journey. I'd love to, the whole purpose is that I'm inspiring and I'm of service. So please comment down below, tell me what you're up to, ask questions, give me problems to solve. I'd love to help you out however I could. I got a lot of resources. So yeah, so subscribe, join me, tell me about your journey. I'd love to hear about it. I have to admit, I'm really enjoying the journey. I think that's the most important thing, is enjoying the journey. So y'all be good, sleep well, and I'll see you in the morning.